After easily dispatching the Portland Trail Blazers in Round 2 of the 2014 NBA playoffs, the Spurs faced a rematch of the 2012 Western Conference Finals against a strong Oklahoma City Thunder squad. That series ended exactly 10 years ago, May 31, 2014. In order to get a flavor for what people were thinking at the time, this summary includes some contemporary writings from the 2014 Pounding the Rock writers, and just like that series, their emotions were a true roller coaster. In a repeat from 2012, that roller coaster was flying up for the first two games, with the Spurs passengers holding their hands up high as their dominant play from the second round carried over. A good first half and a dominant fourth quarter key to 122-105 runaway win over OKC in Game 1. As with any decisive win, a bunch of Spurs players had excellent games. Danny Green was a plus 30 in his 27 minutes, making 6-7 overall and 4-5 from 3. The great Tim Duncan took advantage of Serge Ibaka's injury absence with 21 points in the first half and 27 for the game. Manu Ginobili took over for TD in the second half with 18 points in his 14 second-half minutes, including 3 from 3. The third member of the Big Three, Tony Parker, had 12 assists. As a team, the Spurs shot 57% overall, 53% from 3, with only 9 turnovers. The Game 1 win was highlighted by this Kawhi Leonard move, which put the Spurs up 13 early in the fourth. J.R. Wilco's description of the play, with sound effects, is classic. Leonard began his drive on Durant to the right, then angled to his left, took a couple of dribbles with his left hand along the left side of the paint. As Reggie Jackson helped off Green and swiped at the ball, Kawhi picked up his dribble and spun to his right. Now back-to-back with Durant, Kawhi avoided Steven Adams, completed his spin with the ball in his right hand and his momentum carrying him past the basket. As he crossed the paint, he brought the ball down, then right back up, extended his arm and spun the ball off the backboard and through the hoop as the crowd made one of those weird stage, wah, sounds. Game 2 was more of the same. The PTR headline for a Mark Barrington post says it all. Final score, Spurs rout Thunder 112-77, take 2-0 series lead. The Thunder started the game with energy and rushed out to an early lead in the first quarter, but the Spurs put on a clinic of beautiful passing and three-point shooting that chased OKC out of the building by the end of the third quarter. Tony Parker led the scoring for the Spurs with 22 points and Danny Green had 21, but everyone got into the act. The Thunder went 2-20 from 3. Part of that stat, and their miserable 77 total points for the game, happened because only 2 of the Thunder starters were a threat, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. The other 3 starters, Thabo Sefolosha, Kendrick Perkins and Ibaka's replacement Nick Collison, simply were not offensive threats, combining for 5 points in 54 total minutes. Despite being up 2-0 on the Thunder for the second time in 3 years, the Spurs could not be too confident considering what happened in 2012, when Thunder ended up winning the next 4 games to steal a trip to the finals. Sure enough, that seemed to be in the back of their heads, and the roller coaster started heading back down as the Thunder easily won games 3 and 4. The Game 3 box score makes the game appear closer than it actually was. OKC's win was keyed by 2 lineup changes. First, Reggie Jackson started in place of Sefolosha. Second, Ibaka, who had been ruled out for the rest of playoffs before the series, started Game 3. Jackson played more minutes than every other Thunder player, and Ibaka blocked 4 shots to go with 15 points and 7 boards. The Spurs finished the game on a 13-2 garbage time run that masked how badly they had been beaten. This is from the Game 3 summary by Gigi Gomez. The fourth quarter started with a 12-2 run for OKC and that was the game. As tempting as it is to blame the refs right now, the officiating wasn't even close to being the sole or even the main reason for the loss. It was just a terrible, terrible game for pretty much anyone but Ginobili. The energy was down and San Antonio allowed a lot of offensive rebounds, which salvaged bad possessions for the Thunder. Parker had an abysmal game, Leonard wasn't much better, the shooters were off and the key players all responded for OKC. Game 4 was equally as bad. The Spurs went down 15 at halftime and never threatened after that. The Spurs had a dismal offensive game, with only 2 starters in double figures, Parker with 14, Kawhi with 10. Ironically, the Thunder also only had 2 starters in double figures, but KD and Westbrook combined for 71. Put simply, they had 47 more points than the 24 points by the Spurs' 2 stars. Greg Popovich saw the writing on the wall, and the score, early, benching 4 of the Spurs starters for the entire fourth quarter, and 5th starter Danny Green played only the first 49 seconds of the quarter. Ginobili did not play in the second half at all. The only good news from the game is that no Spur played more than 26 minutes, while OKC played Westbrook 45 minutes, KD 41 minutes and Ibaka 36 minutes. As it turned out, OKC may have earned playing the OKC stars so many minutes even after the game was out of reach. This is the Game 4 summary from Michael Erler. Eventually you just run out of words. When a team gets humbled, humiliated and just thoroughly mentally, physically and emotionally dominated to the degree that the Spurs were at the